it's always going to be manipulated by the central bank.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do us any favors. Capitalism, the owner of the gun tells you, run for it. In the long run, because it's gonna be cyclical, where you're gonna lose and you're gonna gain. Because remember, the way how they keep the masses in line is by having these coordinated recessions
Right.
every 10, 20
Yeah,
years.
they get you to pull out your 401k in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you gotta pay your rent. Welcome back to another episode of Lying to the Races. My name is Carson, and I'm here with...
Priest Assetti.
Today we're going to be talking about who owns the money system and what we can do about it. So we've been trained to think that the system's just a free market and the government's working in our favor. How far would you say this is from reality?
As far as Alice in Wonderland, it's not realistic. It's not. It's like almost what's the saying? It's like doing the same thing over and over again. It's like the definition of insanity.
Right.
Yeah.
And expecting a different result.
Accepting the same results. And it's because the like what we said before, the 1% ruling class, what they do, they have you distracted with politics. And they have the masses distracted with politics, but the 1%ers, they're not even registered voters.
Right.
They're all just registered with Wall Street.
Yeah, it's hard for me to picture a 1%er sitting there waiting in line.
Yeah.
So what do you say to them, to the people that are just waiting, they're begging for Trump to take the office back from Biden to help their financial situation?
Find out the stocks that Biden and Trump are invested in and go invest in that.
Yeah.
You know, go whatever Trump invested in, whatever Biden is invested in, all their friends, that's what you go and invest in. You get a nice garden of stocks.
Definitely. So you don't think that people who think that once Trump gets in, their situation is just magically gonna get better?
No. Only people, remember, America is a capitalist society. You know, democracy is just promoted to the masses and all that stuff, but it's not a democratic society. Because the founders already declared that to have a democracy is mob rule. They say that clearly in the articles that if America were to have a democracy such as Greece and how it was intended, and before Greece, like the indigenous Indians that were populated here, or the Amerindians of South America, or the original indigenous Africans, you would have, to them, you'll have tyranny, because then you'll have one man, one vote. You'll have equal say. You'll have a round table. That's not the party that they want. They want a party of a group of rulers and the mass being the slaves. That's how capitalism works. Yeah. Capitalism has to have a underclass. And it's not like, say, you're trying to say the alternative is socialism, because socialism and capitalism are basically the same thing. You still have a 1%.
Yeah, because somebody's always going to manipulate it.
You know,
like theoretically, some of these ideas.
Capitalism and socialism is two owners with a gun. The only difference is in socialism, the owner of the gun tells everybody to line up, and then he feeds you your ration. In capitalism, the owner of the gun tells you, run for it. And then when he sees some of his friends are losing the race, they'll shoot you in the leg so that their friend to catch up. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
But they're both are totalitarian systems where there's an owner with a gun and the masses are standing behind the fence, and then on the opposite side of the fence, the owner of the gun with his friends.
Yeah, meanwhile, the owners are sitting there talking shit about each other, saying like, "Oh, look how bad China is."
It's not my fault. No, it's this guy. It's that guy. You know. So you need that. You know, no matter how bad Cuba is, there's a certain percent of population that are living good. No matter how bad Venezuela is, there's a certain percentage of population. Go to any country.
Yeah.
There's always a 1%. United States, you know. Yeah, we may have a better infrastructure than most countries where at least the masses get to, you know, have a certain basic standards of living, and they can actually window shop and look at how the 1% live,
Right.
you know. But they pay through the teeth. They never really get to enjoy it. The only time they get to enjoy it is to sit down and watch TV, which is the window shopping. But the key is, if it's a capitalist society, participate in capitalism.
Right.
Don't participate in politics because it's not a democracy. You know, you don't get handed out any wealth because you voted for Biden or you voted for Trump.
Right.
You only will get capital gain if you invest in something and you go gamble on the market, and you could see, you know, or you gamble on the floor with your 401k or your Roth IRA, or you go out there and get like a life insurance for your kids and all your family.
Definitely.
That's what it's about.
100%.
Get a life insurance. Get a Roth IRA if you're a contractor, if you're an Uber driver. You know, get yourself whatever investment model that you can afford for that period of time to build up.
There's like a small amount of, I don't know if I can say it, loopholes that you can, you know, put into a little bit, but it's still not gonna get you nowhere near up there.
No, but at least you in the long run.
Yeah.
In the long run, because it's gonna be cyclical, where you're gonna lose and you're gonna gain. Because remember, the way how they keep the masses in line is by having these coordinated recessions.
Right.
Every 10, 20
Yeah,
years.
they get you to pull out your 401k in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you got to pay your rent. You just got fired.
Exactly.
no work 6 months.
So your key is, okay, say you have a 401k, it builds up to like 30 grand, for instance.
Yeah.
Take it in and take a what do you call it, a hardship loan, and buy a house or something. You guys say, oh no, the houses are $500,000. Yeah, in Miami or in New York or in LA. But if you go like say to to Huntsville, Alabama, or Montgomery, Alabama, or you go to Kentucky somewhere,
It's gonna be a third of the price.
yeah, and you buy it as an investment. Don't worry about your dream house. You're trying to build investment. So just buy houses, and if you come out of America, if you kind of get out of the box to look down at it, you're in America. So once you're in the United States and you have a property in the United States, nobody cares where it is.
Definitely.
You go to any other country and you say, look, I have a house in the United States. They're not going to ask you, is it New York or Kentucky? They don't know. They just know this guy has a house in the United States. Wow, he's rich.
Yeah.
To someone in the third world.
Right.
It's
all about perspective. So how much better do you think the working class's finances would be if the system wasn't so manipulated by a central bank?
I wouldn't even say it like that, because that's like going up and begging for the rulers or the owners to act fairly.
Okay.
It's always going to be manipulated by the central bank.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do us any favors.
For sure.
The way how the masses push back is to learn that politics is not the way how they see it.
Yeah.
Your economic future, your future financial, your financial future, when you invest, the only way politics will, your political involvement will make that positive is when you donate to a political party. Not when you vote for a political party. Right. Donors are the ones who benefit financially. from a political party, because that political party knows the names of their donors.
Right.
So say, for instance, you're a small church or you're a small club. You don't have the kind of money that a one dude that lives in the Hamptons have that could donate, say, 100 million or half a million, or say 500,000, or say 150,000 to a political party. So you go as a group. As long as you're a member of that group, as long as you're a member of that organization, that politician is going to remember the organization. And whoever the chairman of the organization, when they get into power, they're going to say, call them up. Because you want their money again for the next election. They're going to call them, hey, how can I help you? They're not going to call up Carson the voter or Tassetti the voter.
Yeah.
They don't know us. Remember, your vote is anonymous. But when you donate, it's not anonymous. You bought that $1,000 plate. You bought that $100,000 plate at that dinner.
$10 million.
At the Fontainebleau, or the Waldorf Astoria. You bought it. Your name is on that plate. Who cares what's in the plate? It's irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna listen to what you have to say.
Oh, come on. So if you, as an individual, can't afford that $100,000 plate, you have an organization you belong to. Yeah.
But if we could get away somehow from the interest that just gets completely sucked out, or even the hidden inflation taxes, I mean, it would be so much more prosperous.
Yes. Now that's what I'm saying. That's where the influence, the more people participate in these investments models, such as 401ks, such as whether you with MetLife or Vanguard, or whether you're with a Roth IRA, or whether you're with whatever model of financial system you're going into, S&Ps, whatever it is, the index, it doesn't really matter. Just the masses need to participate, or they're not going to teach that in schools,
Yeah,
obviously.
definitely not.
So just like how the masses used to do fundraisers, just like the same fundraisers, or you take up collection at church, that's a form of potential stocks. You go to your pastor and say, hey, I want say you have 3 offerings in the church. Hey, I want that first offering of the church to be invested in some stock for the church, or for a scholarship fund.
Right. That makes sense. Definitely.
We want to be able to. There was a famous African American pastor in one of these events that they had, where they got a lot of black pastors together. I think Tavis Smiley had hosted it, and he said poignantly that, look, if we can gather all this money and stop saying whether we're Southern Baptist, whether we're Pentecostal, and just invest it, all the money that's taken up at the church, it's like on Monday, they go put at least $40 million in the bank. If you count all the churches, just black churches.
Yeah, but they probably want to separate it to make everybody weaker.
Yeah, of course, because each pastor wants his cut. But they would get so much more if they all collect, say, okay, Pastor Carson, Pastor Tassetti, Pastor so-and-so. All right, let's put this money into an international bank, or into an investment fund. It would benefit them, because they're going to be the chairman of it. They're going to be the leaders of it.
Right.
So they would get more than what they think they're getting. Plus now, the members of the church have a vested interest to tithe.
Right.
They're truly giving unto God then. Because that's generational wealth they're building.
So if we went back 20 years in time, and I told you that you'd be making 100K, do you think at that point in time you'd still be thinking that you'd be living paycheck to paycheck 20 years later if you were making 100K?
No.
See, that's the inflation and everything. Just because we're taught to think like, okay, well, in 10 years I'll be making this. Well, what if in 10 years when you're making that, it's worth fucking less than whatever you're making today?
And it continues and it continues. Next 10 years is going to be way higher.
Right. So why do you think we work so hard for the dollar, even though we know it's basically a scam?
Survival. You gotta, let's deal with, it's a short-term gain.
But you gotta put food on the
But you
table.
have to have, yeah, that's a short-term gain.
Yeah.
Survival. You gotta put food on the table, you gotta pay rent. You know what I mean? Now, if you're single and you're young, you have a little bit more flexibility because you could team up, you could roommate, you could,
Right.
you could live in your car, you get a little bit
Yeah,
more,
definitely.
yeah, liquid.
Hard to live in a car with a family.
Yeah. That's why I tell young people, this is the time you're supposed to be making these sacrifices. This is the time you need to be, come on, it's no,
Right.
bro, you don't
Putting in
have
extra hours,
you don't have
figuring
liabilities such as a car payment, or if you do have a car payment, that's the only baby you have.
Right.
When you have 3 kids and a wife, or 4 kids and a wife, even if she's working, she can't work as much as you. She still has to be, someone has to be there to take care of the
Yeah,
kids.
babies force consuming.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Or you have a house, you just end up acquiring things as you get older.
Yeah.
So the younger you are, the better it is to just, that's where you start out your investment so you can get ahead of it.
You gotta get to it and avoid
Yeah.
keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah,
'Cause that's what a lot of people fall into
Right.
too.
yeah.
So then what would you say is some good advice to the younger generation, or what should their parents be teaching them?
Or what should they be teaching their parents? Well, both of them should be learning. Well,
Just
we have to
financial
look at
literacy.
Dubai, and we have to look at the Middle East.
Yeah, they're on to something.
Because what's happening there is what's going to happen here 10, 20 years from now. They're a little bit ahead of the curve because they have a controlled society. They have a single market type economy where it's mainly petrodollar with the oil.
Okay.
So therefore, in the Middle East, they control the population, especially in Saudi Arabia or Dubai or Kuwait, where you have maybe say 1 million people that are foreigners
Okay.
on a green card, and they're the ones that are workers.
Yeah.
Just for argument's sake, see them as AI. They're the original form of AI. They're the human robots.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have another 1 million that are Saudi citizens. Give or take. That's just,
Yeah.
and hypothetical. I mean, don't quote me on the exact numbers.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
But it's basically that's how the society is run, and that society is run in that way where you have those who are considered Saudi citizens or are part of the royal family are invested. They have an inheritance, and they have servants that do the menial labor, that cook, that clean, that does the gardening, that maintenance. A lot of people that I know of in my family and other people that I know go over there to work. You know what I mean? From Africa, from the Caribbean, wherever. And they now are whenever their work is done, if they don't leave, they get deported.
Wow.
But they're there for a short-term contract done, bye. Now, what you saying? What does the 1 million people in Saudi Arabia? How they don't work? So what they do, or what the government gives them scholarships to go to school. They get educated. So now their careers are more like entertainment or psychological. Some of them are counselors, because you're gonna need a lot of counseling with a society like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And they have a universal income.
Yeah, they just share that. pot
And
of oil.
the government gives away money. Like, for instance, when they had the Arab Spring a few years ago, the government of Saudi Arabia just opened up the bankroll and handed out everybody hundreds of millions of dollars. It killed the Arab Spring. They don't know Arab Spring in Saudi Arabia because because everything is economy. Human beings need money and need some sort of way out to live. The masses need to feel secure, even if you don't give them money, they need to know that they get the goods and services that money would buy.
So at which point, how low would it have to get before people really start demanding that here?
Well, what they're trying to do here is, instead of having the mass amount of workers, we already have the worker system from slavery days.
Definitely.
They're trying to get rid of the workers. With AI, with actual robots, Saudi Arabia is doing that, so they don't even have to use human robots anymore.
So then they would just give them, like a social system of
Yeah.
dependable paycheck.
Those who are considered citizens. That's why you have all this immigration control. Remember, the United States was always a controlled economy. And part of that control was immigration. I need 40 million Europeans to come in because I got another 40 million blacks and I don't want them to outnumber the population because the ruling class is white. So you get 40 million Europeans and oh God, I need 40 million Latinos to do menial jobs, but I'm not gonna give them citizenship. I'll give them little migrant visas to come in and I might close my eyes and let them come in illegally and I'll just deport them when I'm ready, But you have a society where you have the ruling class, just like Saudi Arabia, which belong to one ethnic group or a few ethnic groups. And some were grandfathered in because of their wealth. And they were able to work hard enough to get into that, homogeneous society, to be accepted. So if you get rid of, if now you come to the state where the new immigration policies is to get rid of the worker class, the Latinos, the blacks, the poor whites. Once you do that, you can replace it with AI. And then only those who are wealthy
Yeah, they get to go in and take everything else.
will be citizens.
Because everybody else is going to be selling their shit for food, scraps.
I don't know what they'll do. The thing is, they want to remove those populations.
They just want, that makes sense. Just the bottom tier workers.
Because in order to solve the climate issue, in order to solve the population issue, in the sense of solving the impact on the planet, their decision is to remove the population, the worker class. So you'll just have you'll have a class of technocrats, which are college graduates, university graduates, either in IT,
Right.
doctors, lawyers, the professional class.
Yeah.
The working class will be eliminated. You got COVID, you got all kind of stuff that can eliminate them.
Yeah. 100%. It's scary.
You got all kind of stuff you could throw on them to get rid of the working class.
Definitely.
And you got AI, which will replace them.
Yeah, AI is going to be a very interesting shift because
That would be the new slave. That would solve the problem for the ruling class when it comes to equality, when it comes to, social. You won't need social service anymore because AI will be the new slave. You won't need welfare anymore. AI will be the new slave. You won't need to worry about the working class. There wouldn't be no working class of human beings. So a large percentage of the population might die off. I say killed off, but
Yeah, a little nutrition war.
Yeah. And then you have, of course, the professional class and the ruling class.
And they make sure that the professional class just does what they want.
Of course, the professional class, of course, they're going to be schooled.
Yeah.
They're going to be highly educated. They're going to be so-called,
Yeah,
they're
right.
going to be highly trained.
There you go.
Yeah. Their PhDs with their master's degrees. That's why I say go get those things, because those things are like, you know,
Yeah, your golden ticket.
yeah, your gold ticket. You know, degrees. Just like everybody talk about the Illuminati and the Masons, Freemasons. There's different degrees you got. It's all about degrees.
Yeah.
First form of Freemasonry is college. That's why they ask you, do you have a associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and a master's degree, and yeah. That's how you get into the Mason, the Freemason. That's the first step. And you have your frat, and you have all your different sororities. That's all part of that. For the professional class,
Right.
you know.
So one thing that I can see helping the working class is cryptocurrency. It's actually fighting against the fiat system because it's decentralized. No one person's
That'll
in
help
control
them.
of it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not
Investment.
inflating.
I still say still have a mixed bag. Don't depend just on crypto.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
You gotta
I
diversify.
totally agree with you, but
Because they can come in and wipe out the internet.
oh yeah,
How are you gonna trade?
yeah, on purpose. They'll make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, no coincidence in capitalism. It's all coordinated. Nothing coincident. So the masses need to get into investments. Get where you have to be proactive for what's coming.
Yeah, 100%.
Because once the good thing is the 1% loves wealth. They need wealth. They're addicted to it. And the ruling class love wealth. They respect that. So if the more of the working class and gains capital or has investments that has capital and can reap the benefits from that, the more chance they'll have to survive.
So how far do you think
They can buy their way. They'll be able to buy their way.
yeah, with some form of asset.
Yeah.
So it's good to diversify. So how far do you think the ruling class would go? Because they like their wealth. How far would they go as far as eliminating their own wealth to push out everybody else?
Well, they never eliminate their wealth. What their mission is to stop the masses from coming into wealth.
Yeah.
That's their aim. So what they do is they withdraw commercial cash from society, from the regular society. And once commercial cash meaning loans, bank loans,
Right.
The cash that businesses use in order to run their day-to-day operation.
Right.
They withdraw that.
Right, that's what COVID is. You have the market coming down, everybody's selling to pay their rent, so therefore they're giving off the wealth, and then here comes the top class purchasing at the bottom,
Of course, 'cause they already have
doubling their
money.
wealth. That's why Americans have like the worst savings right now.
That's why in the times when the economy is building back from that crash, that's when the working class need to save and try to invest,
Definitely.
so that when there's another crash, they at least have a little bit more than they had before, so they could probably capitalize on whatever investments that are out there, like a housing market that has gotten way less cheaper or something like that. They can buy a couple of houses cash for 30 grand or 40 grand because the market has crashed so bad. I know it won't get down to that, but you know
In
what I
some
mean?
states,
Yeah,
at least down payment.
yeah. I mean, cash is king.
Yeah,
The whole hip hop song, cash rules everything around me.
really does.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a pretty good note to end on, unless you got something else.
Only note I have to say for young people is like, always have a mixed bag. I understand y'all love your card and your digital phone. You just put the phone up, but y'all have never experienced like a hurricane.
Yeah.
So you always should have cash. A lot of young people have not experienced a financial crisis.
And when you say cash, do you mean cash in the bank account or even like a physical?
Under your bed.
Because you're gonna go to the
Under your bed.
ATM, they're gonna say decline.
No, under your bed.
Yeah, here.
You should have in the bank. I
You're
understand
right.
it.
No, literally diversifying everything.
You need cash in a little box, in a safe deposit box
Right.
in your
Right.
closet somewhere or under you somewhere.
Yeah.
Because when the ATM don't work because there's a hurricane or there's a
COVID.
tornado or
Yeah.
COVID or whatever,
Yeah.
or the market crash, the banks are saying, look, we don't have no money. Your cash is going to be king. It might be inflated, deflated, whatever. It's still going to be cash.
Yeah, it's just like an insurance policy. You got
Yeah.
your investments, so losing a few percent purchasing power.
Yeah, so don't sleep on that. Oh, this card ain't going to work if they, come on now. It's digital. It's Wi-Fi.
So one other thing I'll add. Have you heard of, what's it called? Basically, the government is forming a digital currency. You've heard of that?
Yeah.
Do you see that going more mainstream and they try to pull back the dollar, the physical dollar? Because they'd have more control over that.
This is why I say hoard dollars. Just like how you people are hoarding gold,
Right.
hoard dollar bills. Because when that kick in, they'll withdraw a lot of actual dollars from but it's still going to value. Money is money.
Yeah.
At least from a global perspective. Because it might be all digital in America, but you think it's going to be digital in Dominican Republic or Haiti? You think it's going to be digital in Afghanistan? You think it's going to be digital in Ukraine or,
Right.
globally?
Your
or
American
somewhere in
dollar is still
Botswana.
Yeah.
It's going to go. You see, just, okay, America don't have digital. Okay, I'll take my cash and go somewhere else.
Definitely.
And you'll be rich.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you for tuning in for this episode. That was pretty good, bro.
Yeah.
You probably come up with a little more next time, but I'd say that went pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm like falling asleep, but
Yeah, but